Welcome to Caching Waves. Just wanted to do a update on Bitcoin. Firstly, on the daily, looking for this as either a 1-2 or a AB, looking for a C or a third afterwards. Looking for this second correction as an ABC flat or a WXY where we get a 333. But before the next move down, looking for this correction to complete here before I can pull any targets for our pivots. Going down to the hourly, off our high here, we got an A wave move down. A couple weeks ago we thought this was the 3-wave move and we're going to get further downside, but it appears because we only got 3 waves down here that we need to go higher, and this correction is still in the works. Now, a couple options I had on the table I showed you guys yesterday was we get 5 waves up from here to make an expanded flat. That's where our B wave makes new lows. That was our target area. You see in orange in the perfect expanded B area, and we then make new highs above the A for an ABC 335. Other option is this is a WXY and we stop in this area between the 1-to-1 and the 1.382 of this W wave, if that was the case. So that's our WXY scenario. Alternately, we come pretty high up here, up between the 200 and the 2.236. Put that on there. Right up here, and that would take us up to the 1.618 extension of this A wave up here. I'm actually leaning to the ABC version where we get a WXY, a little shorter targets, only because off this A wave that would take us between the 50 and the 618 of that retracement. Down at the 15-minute, my initial expectation was this was a 5-wave move up. We then had a 3-wave WXY for a running flat. We're then looking for this to explode up. But one thing about Elliott Wave is if that was the case, we would expect this not to take so much time. It would just take off. So you need to ask yourself, if your count is correct, what should happen next? And it doesn't appear that is happening, as you can see. At the moment, it still can. It hasn't invalidated anything. It's just becoming less probable because the amount of time this correction is taking if this was an impulse wave, right? We'd expect it not to take that much time. So we need to ask ourselves what's going on here then. One scenario, you can check my ETH video that I'm considering here, is this is actually a leading diagonal where it could potentially be in. We've already ticked through, made a new high. Or this is just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'd expect an A, B, C to the downside here. I'm gonna change these pivots for that scenario, just so I have my next trade option available. Put that in red. So those would be my buy areas if we get this ABC back, and it's at the 382.50 and the 618, a third, a third, a third. But as you can see, we haven't hit the top end of the channel, so this can also make another high here, then come down. So you need to be aware of all these scenarios. I'm currently long from this low here, the original 382 of this pivot. But what I'm going to do that was my entry there. Yes, or earlier in the week. I only got 1/3 of my position in play, but I'm going to move my stop up to this area where if this was the 1-2, we should launch from here. Again, it's looking a little weak, but it's totally valid to happen. The alternate is that this is a 1 or an A. In the WXY scenario, that's an A. In the 1, we would expect to launch. So keeping this in mind here, that we could get an A, B, C to the downside. So I'm raising my stop into slight profit. I got in at 25,913.97, you can see. And I'm going to move my stop up to 26,230-ish right at this pivot. I'll get right on there. And then if we fail at that, I have a slight profit on that first trade, and I'll be instantly looking for these buys for the next long as our 1 or A. And then I'd have to readjust this count because this would no longer be a 1-2, 1-2, and we'd have a 1 or A wave. Again, looking for upside after. So that's what I'm looking at, guys, moving my stop up to this area into profit. And looking for re-entries if that level breaks. All right, thanks for watching.